Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce our new county executive, the Honorable Rob Astorino. Thank you. Good morning. Let me start with a couple of important acknowledgments. First of all, I do want to thank your chairman, Al Del Bollo, and his recent advice that he gave me. I also want to thank, of course, Bill Mooney, who has been such a strong and positive voice on the important public policy issues facing Westchester. And I do want to thank all of the members of the Westchester County Association who showed up today. The work you do as an organization is critically important to Westchester, and I thank you. Now, my remarks this morning will focus on three things: assessing, addressing, and acting on Westchester's competitiveness. David Ricardo is probably familiar to just about everybody in this room, or maybe not, but I'll tell you who he was. He was a 19th century businessman, politician, and economist, best known as the father of comparative advantage. In the simplest terms, Ricardo espoused that economic prosperity was a function of people's ability to understand what they did well or better than anyone else, acknowledge what they didn't do well, and make sure they concentrated their efforts on the former rather than the latter. Clearly, we are a very highly desirable place to live and to work. The pluses include a workforce that is highly educated and motivated, an excellent location where a stone's throw away from the capital of the world, New York City, great quality of life that is energized by terrific schools, communities, and natural beauty, roads, mass transit, and communications that are better than most. I was on 287 today and every day. I know how bad it could be, but we are much better, in essence, than many of the other surrounding areas. The minuses included taxes that are the highest in the country, government regulation that is both too onerous and uncertain, housing, energy, and a general cost of living that's well above the U.S. average. Add the pluses and minuses together, and the next question is, what's the public's perception of Westchester? Well, right now, truth be told, it's not a pretty picture. The public thinks we're going in the wrong direction and wants change. Businesses, large and small, as well as families holding economic summits around their own kitchen tables, see Westchester as constantly getting more expensive. Well, it starts by letting the business community know what it can expect from the county. My pledge is to govern according to three guiding principles, and you heard them before. Number one, competence. Anything deemed worth doing by the county needs to be done right. I define right as the best work at the best prices, delivered with the highest ethical standards. Now, the heavy lifting has already begun. I've asked all of my commissioners on reports for how they will plan to significantly cut their departments. Those reports are due back to me next week. When they arrive, we will review them in both tactical and strategic terms. Tactically, how do we take out some costs right away? Strategically, how do we start to reshape our cost structure? Where are the opportunities for consolidating and sharing services, first within county government, and then more broadly, within other areas of local government, like our schools, towns, and cities? A little good news. We met with the ratings agencies just a few days ago. We presented our approach to how we plan to operate. They liked what they heard, and they reaffirmed our AAA ratings. And moreover, the market reacted extremely positively. We were able to refund $94.5 million with an interest rate of 2.45%. That is the lowest rate the county has received since 1955, and produces an immediate savings of $4.2 million for Westchester's taxpayers. That's what competence looks like. One message I will deliver loud and clear is to tell businesses that they can count on me to be a very strong advocate for our shared services, causes, and concerns, here locally in Westchester, and up in Albany, and down in DC. Number three is communication. I really and truly welcome your ideas, suggestions, and yes, your criticisms. Partnership requires open, candid, constructive dialogue. We need to listen to each other. Really listen, and not give each other lip service. That means listening to things we don't always want to hear, as well as the things that we do. That's what you can expect from me and my team. In return, the county expects the same in kind from you. On competence, it goes without saying that we expect you to give your customers the best service you can provide at the best price. I would ask you to continue to generously devote your time, energy, and expertise in finding solutions to the issues before us. Our challenges are complicated, they're thorny, and they're difficult. Halfway measures won't solve them. Put people in the offices who are actually the customers for hiring. It's a neat concept. The broad point is that when talent and creativity are mixed, good things can happen. And that leads to collaboration. Collaboration is all about sharing. Now, we need to engage our schools, teachers, and students, because when they're at the table, they help to ensure that we're tapping the full spectrum of intellectual capital available to us. Bringing in the schools also helps us keep thinking young. I mentioned David Ricardo before. Here's someone that's a little more contemporary. Mark Zuckerberg. You know the story. He was born in White Plains, raised in Dobbs Ferry, attended Ardsley High School, went to Harvard, only to drop out and become the co-founder of Facebook. But what if Zuckerberg returned home to Westchester instead of going to Palo Alto to build his company? Maybe the next Mark Zuckerberg will return home if he or she is nurtured, motivated, and energized by living and working in Westchester. There are big challenges ahead. But I am confident we can handle them whatever comes our way, and we will handle them together. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
I was very pleased to hear the message of our new county executive about communication, collaboration, and working together to find ways to share services and to relieve the tax burden that people are feeling across our county and, quite frankly, across our state.
I was so pleased this morning to hear of County Executive Astorino's ideas on including the higher education community in what's happening in Westchester. We are key to economic development. And I'm so pleased also that he recognized that we're the second largest employer in the county. We're here, we're ready, and looking forward to doing all we can to make Westchester the success that I know we can make.
I think the county executive's message was very well received by the business community today at the County Association's breakfast. We're off to a great start, as was mentioned a number of times. Transparency, collaboration. It's a wonderful message embraced by both government and the business community today.
Kevin Plunkett, Deputy County Executive. Today's speech by our County Executive was right on the message of economic development, the need to cut costs in government, and the need to consider consolidation in government.
New County Executive, what are your plans for helping people who are out of work?
Well, what we're trying to do is to make sure that we're setting a climate where businesses can stay here, and so they don't take those jobs elsewhere that some corporations and businesses have folded in Westchester. They've moved to areas that they perceive to be, and in actuality are, better business climates. So we want to make sure the businesses that are here stay here. We also want to make it good for people to invest here in our towns and villages and cities and stay in Westchester County, bringing new jobs, creating new jobs, and building and building. That's going to help with their tax base. That's going to obviously help the economy get people back to work. Also, whatever projects that we could do for infrastructure, we want to get people back to work from our unions and everything else. So those are the things. It's a little aggressive, but that's our 4-year plan, and it's not going to be done in a couple of weeks from today. But hopefully we'll look back in 4 years and say we've done good.